We take a moment to reflect. We look a little older, but we are still the same person who looked in that same mirror every day since we moved in. We see ourself in that mirror. This is who we are. This daily experience of ourself is so familiar, and yet the brain science shows that this sense of ourself is an illusion. The psychologist Susan Blackmore makes the point that the word illusion does not mean that it does not exist. Rather, an illusion is not what it seems. We all certainly experience some form of self, but what we experience is a powerful deception generated by our brains for our own benefit. But there's a real difficulty in discussing the self-illusion. Throughout this book, the terms I, me, my, mine, you, yours, our, us, and we are used, which all imply the existence of a self, or multiple selves. I also separate words such as yourself into your self, and ourselves into our selves, for the sake of emphasis. You might conclude that the premise that the self is an illusion must be false, because these terms already acknowledge the existence of the self in the first place. The problem is that there is no simple way around discussing the self without using these words that refer to this human experience most of us have. Second, understanding that the self could be an illusion is really difficult. It may be one of the most, if not the most, difficult concept to accept. Our self seems so convincing, so real, so us. But then again, many aspects of our experiences are not what they seem. Take the most lucid experience that you're having right now. Take a look around you. Your visual world seems continuous and rich, but you are actually only sampling a fraction of the scene, one bit at a time, rarely aware of all that you are missing. Your peripheral vision is smeared and colorless, yet you could swear that it is perfectly clear, just like the center of your visual field. There are two blind spots, the size of lemons at arm's length, just off-center from your field of view that you do not even notice. Everything in your visual world is seamless and unbroken, yet your visual world is blacked out for a fraction of a second between eye movements. You are not made aware of any of these imperfections because our brain provides such a convincing cover story. The same deception is true for all human experience, from the immediacy of our perception to the contemplation of inner thoughts, and that includes the self. In challenging what is the self, we must first consider what most people think the self is. If you were to ask the average person in the street about their self, they would most likely describe the individual who inhabits their body. They believe they are more than just their bodies. Their bodies are something their selves controls. When we look in the mirror, we regard the body as a vessel we occupy. This sense that we are individuals inside bodies is sometimes called the ego theory, although the philosopher Galen Strawson captures it poetically in what he calls the pearl view of the self. This pearl view is the common notion that our self is an essential entity at the core of our existence that holds steady throughout our life. This ego experiences life as a conscious, thinking person with a unique historical background that defines who he or she is. This is the I that looks back in the bathroom mirror and reflects upon who is the me. In contrast to this ego view, there's an alternative version of the self, based on the bundle theory, after the Scottish Enlightenment philosopher David Hume. 300 years ago, in a dull, drizzly, cold, misty and miserable, or dreich, as we Scots love to say, Edinburgh, Hume sat and contemplated his own mind. He looked in on his self. He tried to describe his inner self and thought that there was no single entity, but rather bundles of sensations, perceptions, and thoughts piled on top of each other. He concluded